The death of Lavina Lynn Johnson, a 19-year-old private in the United States Army, has become one of the most controversial and heartbreaking cases in military history. In July 2005, just days before her scheduled return home, Lavina was found dead at a military base in Balad, Iraq. While the United States Army ruled her death a suicide, Lavina's family, and many advocates, believe otherwise. The evidence suggests possible foul play, raising disturbing questions about sexual violence, cover-ups, and accountability within the military. This post explores the circumstances of her death, the investigation, and the ongoing fight for justice. Lavina Johnson was born on July 27, 1985, in Florissant, Missouri, to John and Linda Johnson. The eldest daughter of a close-knit family, she was known for her academic excellence, discipline, and infectious smile. Raised in a household that valued education and service, Lavina had a strong sense of responsibility and patriotism. After graduating from high school, she enlisted in the United States Army, hoping to gain life experience and pursue higher education through the GI Bill. Though her family was initially concerned about her enlistment, Lavina assured them that she could handle the challenges of military life. Her letters and phone calls during her deployment in Iraq reflected her positive spirit and determination to succeed. However, everything changed on July 19, 2005, when her family received devastating news about her sudden death. According to the Army, Lavina died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. They claimed she had used her M16 rifle to take her own life inside a contractor's tent on the military base. The official report suggested that Lavina had been struggling emotionally and that her suicide was an impulsive act following a failed romantic relationship. However, from the moment they received the news, Lavina's family questioned the Army's version of events. John Johnson, Lavina's father, was particularly troubled by the idea that his daughter, whom he described as optimistic, focused, and eager to return home, would have chosen to end her life. Their doubts deepened when Lavina's body was returned home, and the family saw injuries that did not align with the Army's narrative. When Lavina's family examined her body, they noticed several injuries that were not mentioned in the official military report. These included bruises on her face and upper body, loose teeth and a swollen lip, chemical burns on her genitals, suggesting an attempt to destroy evidence of sexual assault. Additionally, the gunshot wound was inconsistent with how someone her size could have used an M16 rifle to shoot themselves. The entrance wound was on the left side of her head, but Lavina was right-handed, further raising suspicions. Her family also noted that the bullet wound appeared small, more like the size of a pistol shot than a high-powered rifle. Adding to the family's concerns, Lavina's gloves had been glued to her hands, an unusual detail that raised questions about what investigators were trying to conceal. Despite these alarming inconsistencies, the Army maintained its conclusion that Lavina's death was a suicide and refused to change her official cause of death. Determined to uncover the truth, Lavina's parents began their own investigation. They requested military documents through the Freedom of Information Act, which revealed troubling details that further contradicted the Army's suicide narrative. The records showed that Lavina's body had been found with her back against a wall, a rifle nearby, and a blood trail leading away from the scene, indicating she may have been moved after her death. The discovery of chemical burns on her genitals was particularly disturbing to the family, as it suggested a possible sexual assault followed by an attempt to cover it up. Despite these findings, the military refused to reopen the investigation, and the case remained closed as a suicide. John and Linda Johnson worked tirelessly to bring attention to their daughter's case. They reached out to politicians, media outlets, and military officials, hoping someone would take action. However, their efforts were repeatedly met with silence and dismissal from authorities. As Lavina's story gained attention, activists and independent investigators began to raise awareness about the case, pointing to a pattern of sexual violence and cover-ups within the military. Lavina's death became a rallying point for those advocating for justice for female service members who have been victims of sexual assault. One theory suggests that Lavina may have been assaulted by a contractor or fellow soldier at the base, and her death was staged to look like a suicide. Given the prevalence of sexual violence in the military, some believe that powerful interests within the army sought to cover up the incident to protect individuals or the institution's reputation. In 2011, Lavina's case was featured in the documentary The Silent Truth, which highlighted the systemic issues of sexual violence and secrecy in the military. The death of Lavina Lynn Johnson remains shrouded in mystery and controversy. While the Army maintains that Lavina took her own life, the evidence suggests a far more troubling scenario, one involving possible foul play and a cover-up.